Hey everyone, my name is Rooster, and welcome back to Mechabellum. In today's video, I'm going to show you guys the semi-finals of yesterday's mini tournament, the EU version of it, where I was competing against none other than Egotistic. And looking at our packs here, I didn't really want to play Fang Saber because I know Egotistic is a very proficient Saber Hound player, and it's kind of what I was expecting him to prioritize if it was offered. So instead, I decided to go for a more mid-sized oriented pack, like Sledgehammer Void Eye, which I think has a decent matchup into the Hounds and the Sabers. The Sledgehammers just provide good frontline, Sabers take a while to get through the entire pack, and Void Eyes tend to be good against, both the Hounds, they can one-shot them, and they provide decent DPS against the Sabers as well. So I quite like this pack. Now, normally, Sledgehammers are perfect for defending, but I think you can also play aggressive with it, and I was kind of planning to play, a more aggressive game here because I wanted to go into Wraith. And so that's exactly what you'll see me do. Left side has a magnetic barrier and a building, which I do end up selling here. But I wasn't too interested, or I think I sold maybe the middle thing. But it has a magnetic barrier, which people tend to not really like to push into. The slow is quite significant. So I was expecting him to be on the right side, and I wanted a headbutt, which looks like I will get in this scenario. I do keep my small turret around. Normally I would sell that if I had Shaft Clear, but round one here, I have Sledgehammers, which will help, but against triple crawler, it will be nice to have this extra little fella around. Crawlers, one in front to try and block the first shot from the Sabers I was expecting, and then one crawler behind to kind of trickle through a bit later. And here we go. Now, as you can see, round one, we are struggling a little bit with the Shaft Clear, but I think my small turret is making, doing a good job here, making it easier for our units to connect. It is, in fact, 6,000 damage now. The Void Eyes are taking over as they slowly take down some of these Sabers. It looks like it'll be a very, very close round. Maybe I can win. Small turret helping out. It's not really meant to deal damage against these bigger targets, but it will tank a shot. And my Void Eyes will win and get a level as a result. Now, I'm a marksman spec. And on round number 2, we get unit reinforcements, and a level 3 marksman gets offered. This was very annoying to me because this blocks the Wraith line quite efficiently. I can still go into Wraith. In fact, I think I'm still kind of forced to go into Wraith because there's no real other Shaft Clear options for me here. I don't want to go into Hound because at that point I'm triple stacking medium-sized units and I'm just asking to get hacked or raided. But yeah, this does make the Wraith a lot more difficult to play. So I do want to buy a Wraith, but I don't necessarily want to have it on the right side where I expected that marksman to show up. And so instead I go for the steel ball here, and I'm looking at this left side tower, and I kind of want to start attacking that instead. So I'll put my Wraith on the other side of the board. It won't get immediately targeted. I can maybe get a debuff and help out my right side. And then I will eventually buy a Wraith on this right side of the board, but at least it gives me a couple rounds to get into some crucial techs. I can get, more Wraith, I can maybe get range, or perhaps even think about grabbing Land Cruiser first if the opponent clicks AA very early. Those were the things I was thinking about. Round number 2, we get a crawler up front here from Egotistic, sorry. Trying to prevent any insta-locks, which I was going for with my marksman. And on the left side, we get a crawler, a steel ball from the unit drop, and then a Wraith to try and push in. I do sell my small turret now. It was doing a decent job last round, but selling it allows me to go for all of these deployments, and I do feel like I needed all of them. And let's see how things go. Right side should not be in my favor. The crawlers, as you can see, are very, very overwhelming, but maybe with a debuff I can still manage something. Doesn't quite look to be the case, as most of my Sledgehammers have died, so the Shaft Clear is just not really present anymore, but maybe as we're traveling to that second tower we can get a debuff and get rid of this marksman. And if I do get rid of the marksman, well, then this Wraith is uncontested and should just win the round by itself, and indeed it will do so. I even managed to get a level up on my steel balls if I desire to take it, and that's a pretty successful round. So happy with the play that we went for. I think if I go on the right here, my Wraith would just instantly die. It has no techs, and that level 3 marksman would make mincemeat of it, so a good play, I would say. I'm pretty happy about this. I'm still not out of the woods because I need to reinforce that right side as well. But at the very least, I didn't take too much damage. Round number 3, and Rhino Assault shows up, but there's also an Incendiary Bomb. Now, I was first thinking about grabbing the Rhino Assault and either using it aggressively myself or defensively, right? Try to guess where my opponent was going to drop that Rhino. But then I thought to myself, round 3, Incendiary Bomb also has a 3-round cooldown. If I can land it on the right side, I probably just win the round by default. It doesn't even matter what happens with this Rhino. I can stall it with, 2 crawlers in the back, and then that'll be that. And considering I really expected my opponent to pick Rhino Assault, it's very unlikely that they will shield that right side. Because, 1, they're going to be thinking about Rhino Assault as well. It's kind of the first thing that pops out. And 2, buying a shield here on top of buying a spell is very expensive, right? You only have 600 resources to spend. You already spent like about 100 on this. If you then also buy a shield and there's a chance that the shield could break, you would be in a very bad situation here. So that's why I decided to just aggressively position the fire and just say, I don't think you're going to shield, and if it lands, well, I win the round by default, and it does look like we will get away with that. Immediate AA Marksman now comes out from Egotistic. I do go for this crawler here in the corner, as I was expecting that missile. Very good habit to try and do this if you're playing in the corner. This shallow flank is your best friend. And yeah, right side looking good. Getting rid of all of the hounds means that these sabers don't really have, well, they just simply don't have any chaff clear to help them out. And I will be victorious. The Rhino eventually gets in. We stalled it with 2 late crawlers, but it doesn't really matter anymore at this point. The left side gets in, we trade the towers, and now we just have to finish off that level 2 Saber-tooth on the right side of the board. So, early game has been pretty successful for us. We're happy with how everything went. We also got now AA out of our opponent on the marksman, and I haven't teched my Wraith yet, so I was thinking, well, I may just end up going Land Cruiser first in this scenario. Round number 4, some pretty scary card variants here showing up. Improved Tarantula is pretty good. I don't think I would go for it here considering the sabers. And the other card variant is Assault Scorpion, which is a very, very good card. Especially in headbutts, this thing is a menace. With a 3-second reload as opposed to a 4.5-second reload, it really clears a lot faster. It almost becomes chaff clear with how fast it shoots, and it's very good against the steel ball push that I was going for. So our whole plan here with the steel ball Wraith stuff, not really going to work out, I think. I also have these sledgehammers and void eyes over here that are vulnerable to the scorpion, so this is a scary round. Now, I do decide to go for double wasp as I saw the AA marksman. I'm not really willing to go for land cruiser yet, or to range my Wraith. I don't think I have to. If I just buy some Wasp, I should be able to stall this marksman for long enough that the Wraith can do its job without any techs. Right side, I'm still going to ignore for now. I just want this to stall. I kind of want to see what my opponent goes for, right? Do they pressure the right side more, or do they try to defend left? It's a little bit of both. And yeah, this gives me time, right? We had a good early game, so I can afford to kind of sit back, relax, and try to see, will my opponent show more cards? And if they do, then it may be easier for me to kind of draw a game plan. I will oil the right side. I could either light that on fire next round if I want to, but either way, the slow is going to be useful to, again, prevent this from getting in and getting an early tower debuff. Left side is doing very well. That marksman, as expected, gets stuck on the wasps, and so my Wraith is safe and able to chaff clear. I do lose all of my steel balls to that Saber-tooth, not the Saber-tooth, the Scorpion, rather. And now I'm thinking, okay, like, what do I want to do about these Scorpions? Because they're kind of scary. I was thinking maybe, do I want to go Abyss? That could be one line. But round number 5, I don't think I'll have the money for it. I'm not an aerial spec or a giant spec or anything. So going for Abyss this early is going to be tough. And I do kind of want to buy something next round that can deal with the Scorpions. I don't want to sack another round. Even though I will end up winning here. But I kind of want these Scorpions to not get completely out of control by the time I get a counter. So Abyss was off the table. And that kind of leaves something like Hacker or maybe Saber-tooth. Just have to wait now on round number 4 for these wasps to clean up. And so that is 4 round wins in a row at the very start of the game. Couldn't ask for a much better start. Round number 5, Absorption Module shows up. Not a bad item. on a Wraith. I could pick that up. Intensive training, though, is kind of tempting here as well. It's round 5, so I have a bit more money to spend. And I was kind of liking the hacker line because Assault Scorpion's one downside is it doesn't have a lot of range. So with hacker, I could maybe get some early lock-ons to happen. And, well, if I take over the Scorpions, then, you know, we're in business. So I decided to go for intensive training here as well. Looks like Egotistic does the same. We'll have to see where that intensive training goes. Mustangs. So gearing up towards the classic Mustang Scorpion here. And intensive training is very good on Mustang, so a good pickup. I decided to go for the double hacker line, as I said. I immediately ranged them, and I still have 100 left to be able to level one of them. I probably should level this right side one because this Scorpion does have a level available. We can see that the level didn't get picked up, but you never know. And if it was leveled up, I would have had a lot of trouble hacking that with a level 1 hacker. I also decided to missile this crawler up front immediately. That should guarantee an insta-lock. And then from there, we'll have to see. I also sell my steel balls, by the way. And because I sell my steel ball, I can go for jump drive on my wasps to move them back and avoid this missile strike. Because I do know it's back off cooldown. My opponent is a missile spec. And I decide to move back my Wraith a tiny bit. Now, the problem is it doesn't have range. So this will severely hamper its shaft-clearing ability. And, well, the ability of my hacker to get anything done. But I didn't want it to move forward and get attacked by that marksman. Maybe I just should have. This is a level 1 marksman with AA against a level 2 Wraith. I probably would have been fine. But lucky for me, the right side does go well. We managed to hack that Scorpion. And because of it, we will be winning. Still, left side not looking too great. That Wraith will fall. The Scorpion will take the tower. And we will get a tower debuff of our own. But I think this will just come down to whether or not we can clear the 2 Mustang packs that are still alive. And then perhaps take over that Scorpion. For now, it looks like the engagement happens favorably for me. Now, we'll end up locking onto that Scorpion and take it over, which means we should be able to win yet another round. So that will bring Egotistic down to about 2.2k. Now we have round number 6. Wasp Swarm shows up. I decided to just pick it because it's not bad to have additional Wasps on the right side. For the time being, didn't have any Mustangs. I could try and go for a cheeky debuff here. In case my opponent doesn't add any Mustangs. Maybe they do, but I think it was worth giving this a go. And finally, I decide to pull the trigger and I go Land Cruiser first. This way, the AA bonus no longer exists. And I can just kind of try to go for Land Cruiser into Floating Artillery Array as opposed to range into Floating Artillery Array. 2 more Wraith on the right side, just to try and shaft clear. I do need to get rid of all of these crawlers and hounds. So, yeah, Wraith is going to need a lot of investment. I will need that 8 gun to be able to get anything done. The right side does get 1 Mustang. Then double shields here for Egotistic. That's a clever move. Anytime you see an early hacker, especially in this mid-game, it's not a bad idea to go for these type of shields. Hackers are very bad against shields. This is not explained anywhere, but they deal 1/3 of their attack damage when they have to deal damage, and they have to deal damage to get rid of shields. So that's why barrier techs and shield devices are very potent against hackers, because basically decreases the amount of, you know, damage they can do by 1/3. Wasps here will get locked on. A couple of Mustangs decide to turn around, but lucky for me, you know, Assault Scorpion doesn't have a lot of range, so it ends up walking outside of the shield, and that's very good for me, because now the Scorpion is level 2, and it's mine. It might be able to deal some damage to that shield. In fact, it does hit it with one of its shots. It will go down to that marksman, but I think now there's enough left for us to be able to at least take down one of the barriers, and while taking away 100 resources from your opponent is never a bad thing. Not quite sure if I'll manage to win here. We'll have to see. Good debuff timer, I will say. Perhaps the Wraith can clean up. We'll take over this Scorpion as well. It looks like indeed I may be able to win this. I have a high-level marksman on my side, and again, a good round. Perhaps a bit fortunate there with the shield placement, because if it was a bit further up, I think I would have been in trouble. Now, round number 7, we have the second round of unit reinforcements. And I wasn't specifically looking for anything. I mean, I don't have any anti-air, which is the scary bit, but I didn't fully trust my hackers anymore at this point. Main reason is because my opponent was buying so many small units, and there was no anti-air, or there was no air unit in the drop. So I kind of wanted to just go for the Saber-tooth here and try to really build a front line, because that's something I was lacking, right? I have some chaff, I have mid-sized units, but that's exactly what these Scorpions love to shoot at. And so I felt like the hackers were no longer really going to do their job, and I maybe wanted to diversify the board a little by using this good frontliner, this Saber-tooth, to deal with those enemy Scorpions. We do have a Rhino drop back off cooldown as well, but I'll just make sure that I move my Wasps kind of towards the middle so they can turn and get rid of that. Fire is back. I decided to use it in the middle, where I expected he would put the shields the least, because it's very expensive here to go for quad shield. So usually people will just go for shields on their most important kind of units, or where most of their units are, which in this case is going to be the outsides as opposed to the inside of the battlefield. And 2 more sabers plus an intensive training to make another level 3, and I click the new tech, Field Entrenchment, to get the bonus stats, bonus range, bonus HP, and the reduced attack interval. Now do note that at this point, with the sabers, where I managed to get, I think, an insta-lock, yeah, look at that, very nice, there is anti-synergy between what my sabers do and what my hackers want. The sabers kind of counter the Scorpions here as well, but they will kill them, right? And they have so much damage that typically it won't leave much for my hacker to take over. So with that, I'm already kind of gearing towards moving out of hacker. They've served their purpose, and yeah, at this point I just feel like it's better to use the unit drop I got with a very high level saber, and I think that just provides me with a more solid late game that is less vulnerable to barriers, because that is another thing, right? I didn't have anything that could quickly break barriers, and so the Scorpion kind of fulfills that job, but at the same time it also starts killing the Scorpions, and while I say that, we do lose our very first round. Round number 8, Orbital Javelin shows up. I mean, that's a must pick. It's such a good spell here. I did expect him to try and hit this because, well, it hits my hacker, it hits a Wraith, and that is just the most valuable kind of thing on my board, right? He could try and hit here as well. That would probably be the safer play, as I'm less likely to beacon this, because this is where, you know, he can kill some sledgehammers as well. And this hacker could have potentially been level 3. Now, I beacon this backwards. I go temp speed. Very important to click this on a javelin round if you're trying to dodge. The speed will definitely help trying to avoid that javelin. Double shot comes out on the Scorpions. I just buy a bunch more chaff, and I go for 8 gun on my Wraith. I add another Wraith here as well on that right side to help out my Saber-tooth. Now, we are loading at this point. Temp range, temp speed has been clicked. And looks like things are going quite well. The Saber-tooth is doing an absolute number on the enemy units. The right side, struggling somewhat. Definitely have some chaff clear issues still. But it's holding on. Now, the Hounds with the Chamber Compression managed to get the tower debuff. And there are some Stormcallers still that are being very annoying. They've dealt a lot of damage so far. 50,000 damage plus already. And because my Saber-tooth has left the trench, it basically has no text now, and that makes me think, okay, maybe I want double shot into range, or maybe just range. I wasn't quite sure, but I definitely wanted more text on those units. Round number 9, we get more unit reinforcements, and now I can see the Raiden, and I knew I didn't have any anti-air apart from my 2 Wasps, and I was very vulnerable to that. So, where before I think it's fine to kind of, you know, take the gamble, basically, that your opponent is not going to buy an anti-air unit. Here, they're offered free air units, and so I really have to respect it, right? I'm not as healthy as I was, and so I decided to just pick up the Farseer, and in fact, I will immediately click Aerial Specialization as well. It's a bit of a gamble, but I think it should pay off, right? I was relatively certain he was going to go Raiden here, because, again, right, I have no anti-air, and if he can win a round, that will help him out tremendously because he's relatively low on hit points. And on top of that, right, any air units that may get purchased late will be weak to AA. It's a cheap tech, so I didn't mind grabbing this preemptively. We will get rewarded for it by the looks of things. Now, round number 9, I decided to just buy more sabers, and I was considering buying that double shot here. I'm not sure if I'll do it. Doesn't look like I will. Just more Saber-tooth right now. I think 2 blue ones over there. We do grab the second defense enhancement. And that'll be all she wrote. I mean, just the added bonus stats should be very, very good here. Should kind of annoy these Mustangs and allow us to perhaps survive a little bit longer. I get really good lock-ons on the sabers here. The one on the right sadly does go down, but it leaves that Scorpion crippled enough that the Farseer can finish the job. The left side definitely looking decent. That Saber-tooth doing a great job so far of tanking. But sadly, it will end up going down. The good thing is I still have my hacker on that left side, but the sad thing is it can't quite finish the hack, and so it will go down on that left side. And even though I thought I would win the left side, it seems like the right is doing better. AA Farseer certainly helping in this case. I think without it, we would have lost those units most certainly. But here with the AA, we managed to take down the final Raiden, and we do win marginally on round number 9. Round number 10. Things are getting late, and not the most impactful cards here. Additional deployment slot you could take, but it's kind of likely that, you know, you won't get too much value out of it. I still think it's fine to pick, but I wasn't, like, too interested. Missile Strike you could go for too. It is kind of expensive at this stage because it's unlikely that it will come back. But if you can hit one of these packs of, you know, Mustang, then it's probably, well, that is most definitely worth it. So I was willing to take the risk in this case. My Wasps are back off cooldown as well. Opponent here decides to go for Quad Wasp with a double additional deployment slot. I didn't pick any of the additional deployment slots. And goes for EMP. So the idea here would be to, well, 1, get rid of the entrenchment, and 2, I think mainly getting rid of the Wraith techs, popping them back up into the air, and perhaps allow the marksman with the AA to get rid of them. EMP is quite useful against Wraith. But I will say Wasps tend to not apply it like for that long, but I guess if they lock onto it, they might be able to apply it repeatedly. So not a bad idea whatsoever. The only downside, I guess, is that I do have the AA Farseer. Note that Farseer aren't the best at dealing with Wasps. They will take a while to take down the packs, but, you know, his Raidens aren't really invested into that much. And yeah, like, we'll have to see how well this goes. He will shield the correct pack of Mustang that I tried to hit. Temp range, temp speed. There's a Wasp on the flank, but we will just be able to get rid of that since I had Wasps over there. And a Farseer as well. I decided to go double shots on my Sabers. I don't quite have range yet on my Wraith, but I felt like it wasn't necessary because I was playing very far up. If I was playing further back, I probably would have had to grab range, but in this case, didn't feel like it was the most, you know, pressing matter. And as my Wraith pop up into the air with the EMP, they actually help out by, you know, killing those Wasps that have no range. The Farseers now lock on them because I did grab the levels on them. They take down the air units a lot faster, and this is a very, very big round where we will be able to win and, well, just simply take the game and go to the finals of the mini tournament. So yeah, interesting game here. Very, very sweaty. We ended up being quite healthy in the end, but I felt like at any moment here, things could go wrong. And in fact, if we go into the replay, we will see that that was somewhat warranted. Assault Scorpion is a very, very scary card. And in headbutts like this, it can easily contest. I mean, even these Sabers, right, with entrenchment and eventually double shot. So what probably should have happened here is, I mean, he could grab a missile strike. Not quite sure. Maybe an additional deployment slot is fine too. We could try and grab that. And then lone, temp range, temp speed. We can definitely sell this forward Raiden since it's not going to do too much. Probably need a crawler to be able to stop this insta-lock from happening. And then we can just elite recruit and buy a ton more of these Scorpions. We can put them maybe somewhere over here. One can go over here. Maybe one more over there. And then let's go for a final one on this side. Let's also make sure that we do missile on these final rounds. Definitely try to missile at least the stuff on the flanks. I'll probably put a missile over here as well. We have an intensive training available if we want. I'm not too sure if we need that. We should shield. Definitely should try and shield here, since the missile strike was offered. And I guess that would just be that. Bit risky, I guess, in terms of the shielding. I probably should have had another one over here. But at least we protect some of our Mustangs. Oh, actually, it looks like I will lose a few because of this. But the main kind of idea here is to showcase the strength of all of these Sabers combined. Or rather, the Scorpions combined. Which is that they shoot incredibly fast. And they are incredibly tanky. And yeah, you can see what it does, right, to my board. It is just a complete decimation of the field. And even though I was healthy, I would have taken about 3,000 damage there. 2.7, which is not quite enough to kill me, but it's awfully close. And I'm not too sure if I would have been able to recover from this. Especially with, you know, all of those additional deployment slots. Egotistic probably could have kept building, you know, more and more and more Sabers, even making a second line of Saber, or Scorpions. Keep getting them mixed up. Arriving late, and yeah, likely would have crushed me on round 11. So there you go. As often is in this game, it's just good, right, to buy more of the units that you teched into. So in this case, if you have picked a card variant, you've invested in it, attack, double shot, it is just worth grabbing more of them, right? And the AA here wasn't really necessary because the Scorpions already counter the Wraith since they're on the ground at this point. And you had decent anti-air with, you know, a few AA marksmen, some high-level Mustangs, so that wasn't really too much of a concern. Anyway, if you liked this video, please leave a thumbs up. Let me know down in the comments below what you thought about it. And yeah. If you want to stay up to date on my latest content, please consider subscribing. And if you want to see me play live, check me out on Twitch. With that being said, take care, guys, and see you in the next video. Bye-bye.